Shalom, shalom, shalom. Most High bless. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. It's F.O.P.E. in the house. This is Qanath, the brother Badal. Everybody know Yehuda, Israel. Let everybody introduce themselves. We're going to start out with another edifying class on the chart. This is part 3, and there's many more classes we're going to do about this to get some proper understanding. Okay. So wait a minute, the brother went off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I just noticed that myself.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Just lost the link. So he's gonna come right back on when he jumped back in his room. I don't know what happened to him. Yep. But Yehuda, before he get back on, before he jump on, you want to say some things because there you go. He's back.
Basically,
he's back.
Salaki.
No, it's fine. Hey, put the other part back up too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something before we start? Got it. Cool. Yep. All right, Yehuda. Yehuda? I'm having internet problems, everyone.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Man.
Hey, can you hear me?
Give us a second.
Come on, I hear you.
Well, we hear you now. Can you hear?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
What happened? I got cut off, right?
Yeah, you're all right now. We hear you.
Okay, no, I was saying, recently we had an opportunity to do tribes. We did a tribes like Asher, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, etc. Right? So tonight we're going to focus on Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Tonight, that's what we're going to do tonight. So, brother, if you can, before I get started, right? I want to deal with Issachar because you got these Negroes telling me and you that these Asian phenotype European conquistador Mexicans are our people, right? So, brother, this is an old map, right? This map is from the 1520s, right? It is a upside down map of Africa, right? From 1520, it says below, it says showing the tribe of Issachar right next to the tribe of Judah. Let me read it one more time. It says an upside down map of Africa from 1520 AD, showing the tribe of Issachar right next to the tribe of Judah. So, brother, if you can go to the next page real quick.
Come on.
Right there, blow that up real big.
Come on.
Big as possible. Oh, yes, sir, big as possible. Right there, you see that right there? That's Issachar right there.
There it is.
That is a corruption of Issachar, right? It's spelled I-S-C-H-A-R. Don't believe me, you can Google it. It is a corruption of Issachar, right? I just want to show the people an old African map from 1520 AD, right, showing the tribe of Issachar. So, for any of you out there who have any doubts and want to continue this lie, this is just more evidence right here that the tribe of Issachar also migrated down to Africa. So, with that being said, now let's jump right into the lesson. Let's go to let's deal with Simeon. So, what we're gonna do now, right? We're gonna go to Genesis 49. Genesis 49, right?
Go on.
We're gonna deal with Simeon.
Hey Moshe, you got your bite? You got your strips too?
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
Okay. All right, Badal, you can start out.
And real quick too, I want to say this real quick too. When you see the word Niger on the map, the old African map, that's also Judah. So you see this old African map with Issachar right beside Judah. So now let's go to Genesis chapter 49. Read verse 5.
Come on. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
It says Simeon and Levi are brothers, and instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. Now, Who do they say this is here?
I think they say that's the Mexicans, I believe.
Simeon.
They say Mexicans, right?
Yeah, I think the Mexicans. Yeah, Simeon.
Hey, listen, man. Somebody just tried to call me, and my phone went low. I can barely hear you guys. I got to go back. I got to jump back in.
Yeah, jump out and then jump back in. I got you. Yeah, so while Yehuda do that, what we're going to do also is excuse me, is we're going to do a breakdown on Nathaniel and Elder Ben Yum Yum breakdown. We're going to do a commentary on a breakdown. Most High will sometime next week, right? To get the proper understanding and to show you the errors that they're dealing with. You understand? Because a lot of times people just watch their video, but what they don't do is they don't actually look for themselves. So every scripture that they read, we're gonna go through and stop, go, right? So hold on, I think he's almost in the room. You want to say anything, Badal?
Yeah, and I believe the lie is that the Dominicans are Simeon, you know, and I was just clarifying that because I think he was asking about Simeon and not Issachar. But if he was asking about Issachar, big camps, One West, they claim that Issachar is the Mexicans and that Simeon is the Dominican. And since he isn't here yet, it's just the statement of that itself is ridiculous because those are two land masses. Those aren't even people. You know, Mexico is a land where many different races of people live. The Dominican Republic is a land where many different races of people live. So, I mean,
okay, we good to go. We good to go.
Con.
Yes, sir. We good to go.
So we're going to read that again. Genesis. Okay, good. We're going to read that again then.
Yes, Genesis 49, verse 5.
Con. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
So they say this is Levi. They say these are the Haitians, right? And they say that Simeon is who Simeon is supposed to be?
Dominican.
On that
Dominicans.
On that line ass chart. The Dominicans, right? Now, brother, do me a favor.
Right.
Bring up that other email, that I sent you. It says Ashan with the map of Ashan.
Con. Let me pull it up for you real quick.
Okay. But they say Simeon is supposed to be the Dominicans, right? That's what they say, Dominicans?
That's right.
Okay, blow that map up, my brother. Blow that map up. Now, while you got that map up, here what I want you to do. I want you to go to, let's go to the book of Joshua, right? And go to verse chapter 19, read verse 7. This is dealing with the territory of Simeon. Let's see where Simeon was located. Because Simeon, as you can see on the map here, right? That Simeon was located within the territory of Judah. But they say that Simeon was part of the northern kingdom on that lion ass chart, right?
Right.
Let's go to Joshua. Yeah, keep that map up right there, right? That is a map of Judah and Simeon right inside Judah. In fact, make it a little. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You can see it. That's right there. Go to Joshua 19, and when you get there, read verse 7.
Come on. Joshua 19 and 7. Ayin, Ramon, and Ether, and Ashan, and Ashan, 4 cities and their villages.
And Ashan, 4 cities and their villages. Right, and when you go back to the subtitle, it says the territory of the children of Simeon. Right. Do me a favor just to clarify this here. Go to 1 Chronicles chapter 4 and read verse 32. 1 Chronicles chapter 4, read verse 32.
Come. And their villages were Etam and Ain, Ramon, and Tochin, and Ashan, 5 cities.
And Ashan, right? Right inside of Judah. Let's verify it's inside of Judah. Go to Joshua chapter 15 and read verse 42.
Come on. Libnah and Ether and Ashan.
And Ashan. Right. So there you have it. The tribe of Simeon was located right smack dead in the middle of Judah. So how in the hell they got Simeon? Go ahead.
Let me say something so everybody know. When he read verse 42, chapter 15, and you read verse 1, it says, "It's them was the lot of the tribe of the children of Judah."
Of Judah,
right,
exactly.
So you have, right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And do me a favor now, bro. Pull up that video real quick, right? And you're gonna see that the city of Ashan, the Ashantis in West Africa, right? So in West Africa, among the Ashantis, you have many of the Judahites, and you have many of the people from Simeon living in Ashanti as we speak. As we speak. But they say that the tribe of Simeon came over here on ships. Culture and ancient lands. Let's start from the beginning. This video is like a minute. It's not long. It's about a minute, 30 seconds. People's culture and ancient lands. For instance, if you go to Ghana today, down here, you will find that the Ghanaians have a tribe called the Ashanti. The Ashanti tribe are from an area they identify in Israel called Ashan. Ashan is a Hebrew word that means smoke, and it relates to the burning. Why? Because when the Jerusalem was burning, these people left Israel and they ended up in these African regions. These Ashanti people, they identify their Almighty Creator as someone called Yeme. Or they have the word spelled is N-N-N-Y-E-M-E, O-N-Y-E-M-E, on Yeme, but they don't pronounce the O and the N. So the Yeme, the word M, the letter M, is interchangeable in the ancient Ashanti language with W. There would be Yahweh. Yahweh is a term for Yud-He-Vav-He, which many people pronounce like myself, Yahweh. Some of you pronounce as Yahuwah. However, that tells us something about the Ashanti people in Africa. Ashanti people are Hebrew people. They still have the custom of the woman separating after for the menstruation period, 7 days. They still have the custom of circumcising their children. But show me these customs in the Americans. Show me these customs in the British people. You won't find them. They don't exist. So there you have it. That's right there. There you have it. The people of Ashan, they migrated to Ashanti, and many of them are from the tribe of Simeon. But these Negroes got the tribe of Simeon right in near Haiti. It's comical, man.
Right.
Let's go back right to Genesis 49. Genesis 49, right? Read that one more time. Read verse 5 one more time.
Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
They say instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. Now they said that the cruelty is dealing with voodoo. Right? How in the hell is cruelty dealing with voodoo? Now let's go to Psalms. Right. Let's go to Psalms to see when it says the instrument of cruelty, what it really means. Let's go to Psalms chapter 27. And so you folks can see
anybody to prove us wrong. Anybody to prove us wrong.
Yeah, Psalms 27. So far, you folks can clearly see that the children of Ashan, they migrated to Africa. They are called the Ashantis. They are a mixture of Judahites and Simeonites. But no, they got the tribe.
When you feel like reading another 3 verses, you can read too. Go ahead, Badal.
Go to Psalms 27 and read verse 12. Psalms 27, verse 12.
Deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty.
Such breathe out who?
Cruelty.
Cruelty, right? And the reason why it talks about the cruelty is because of what Simeon and Levi did, right? What they did. We'll get to that part also when we get to Levi, right? We'll get to that part when we get to Levi, because we know the story how those men of Shechem defiled their sister Dinah, right? So we're gonna get to Levi also, right? So when it says cruelty, it's not talking about no damn voodoo. David says, deliver me not over unto my enemies, false witnesses are risen against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. That's what it means, right? Now, in the New International Version, it said the swords are weapons of violence. That's what it says in the New International Version, right? So now let's go back to Genesis 49 and read verse 6.
Come on. It reads, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
It says, O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly, mine honor, be not thou united. Right? So he says, unite with their evil hearts. This is what Jacob's saying. He said, I will not, or be not thou united with their evil hearts and wickedness, and in their anger they slew a man. That's what Jacob is saying. Right? Be not united with their evil hearts and wickedness, because they slew a man. Read verse 7.
First be their anger, for it was fierce. A lot. And their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide
stop
them
right there. Stop right there. He just used the word cruel again. When you jump back up to verse 5, it says Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty. And right here again, he used the same word in verse 7. He says, and their wrath, for it was cruel. See, he used it twice because of what they did. Continue.
I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel.
I will divide them in Jacob, right? He says, and scatter them in Israel. Now let's go to, in fact, let's go to Genesis 34 real quick. Genesis 34 and read verse 30. Genesis 34. Read verse 30.
Oh, verse 3. Verse 3, Yehuda.
And this thing.
Still there?
Yeah. We hear you. He said, what verse to read?
I said, verse 30.
God. Genesis 34 and 30. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and Perizzites, and I being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house.
You see what Jacob said? He said, you make me stink among the inhabitants of the land because of their cruelty. Not the voodoo. He's not talking about you make me stink because of the voodoo. He says because of their cruelty. Now let's go ahead.
Real quick. Hey, brothers, why don't y'all alternate reading Moshe? Because I see you sitting up there. I want you to get tired, man. You alternate reading scripture on scripture if you don't mind. Or if you're tired, you just listen up. My bad, Yehuda. Go ahead.
No, don't worry about it. So one more time in Genesis 49, right? Go back to verse 7. Jacob says, I will divide them up in Jacob and scatter them in Israel, right? Now, do me a favor, my brother. Go to Joshua 19. Book of Joshua 19, where he said he would scatter them. Go to Joshua 19, right? Read verses 1 through 9. I would scatter them. And we can already see, as I showed you, that the tribe of Simeon was in the territory of Judah. And many of the tribe of Simeon also migrated to West Africa, the Ashantis. And the city of Ashan was located smack dead in the middle of Judah. You go to Joshua 19, right? We're going to read verses 1 through 9.
You got it, Doc.
Uh-huh.
All right, Joshua 19:1. And the second lot came forth to Simeon, even for the tribe of the children of Simeon, according to their families. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah.
You know what? Stop right there. We don't need to read all this stuff. That's good. Read verse 1 one more time. Verse 1.
And the second lot came forth to Simeon, even for the tribe of the children of Simeon, according to their families. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah.
Now read verse 9.
Con. Out of the portion of the children of Judah was the inheritance of the children of Simeon. For the part of the children of Judah was too much for them. Therefore, the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of them.
Right. Continue.
And the third lot came up for the children of Zebulun according to their families. And
No. Did you read the remainder of verse 9? I didn't hear you. Were you cut off or something?
I might have been. I'll read it again.
Let me read it. This is
okay. Uh-oh. Now he's cut off. That's no good.
Yeah, this internet, I don't know what's going. This is crazy right here, man. Last week we had problems. And with what's going on, I'm starting to notice when people start going live, the internet is flooded because ain't nobody working.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They getting overloaded. And now you got things Friday night too. So everybody's in the house on the internet. Let's see. Okay. You hear me now? Okay, he's gonna come back in.
Okay, come.
I hope everybody's following along.
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. I think he's trying to mess with us again. Oh, that's Joshua.
Joshua chapter 1, verse 3.
19.
Verse 3. Chapter 1, verse 3. Joshua 1, verse 3. I tell you, Satan, man, because Satan don't want this information to get out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Because we know who Satan working with. They working with One West. He's working with them for sure. That's why they're deceiving so many people. Yeah, Joshua 1, read verse 3.
Okay, Con. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses.
Okay. Wait a minute. I think that's
No, you wanted Joshua 19. You wanted Joshua 19, 1 through 9. That's one you
No, we did it already.
Oh, you already did it? Okay, so my bad.
Yeah, we did it already. But, no, it's something that I wanted, but it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Go to First Chronicles. I get it later. Go to First Chronicles, chapter 4. When you get to First Chronicles chapter 4, right? Read verses 39 through 43. This is something else I want you guys to see concerning Simeon, right? First Chronicles 4, read verses 39 through 43.
Come. And they went to the entrance of Gedor, even unto the east side of the valley, to seek pasture for their flocks. And they found fat pasture and good, and the land was wide and quiet and peaceable. For they of Ham had dwelt there of old. And these written by name came in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and smote their and the habitations that were found there, and destroyed them utterly unto this day.
Right.
and dwelt in rooms, because there was pasture there for their flocks. And some of them, even of the sons of Simeon, 500 men, even of the sons of Simeon, 500 men, went to Mount Seir.
They went where?
To Mount Seir.
We all know where Mount Seir is located, right? Edom. Okay, continue.
Having for their captains Pelatiah and Neriah and Raphiah and Uzziel, the sons of Ishi. And they smote the rest of the Amalekites that were escaped and dwelt there unto this day.
They said they smote the rest of the Amalekites that were escaped, and they dwelt there unto this day. When First Chronicles was written, they said they smote the Amalekites and they dwelt in Edom. So you also had many Simeonites dwelling in Edom. You see that? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, also had many of them dwelling in Edom, right? So now let's go back to Genesis 34. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, no, Genesis 49. Genesis 49.
God.
So let me read this one more time. So again, it says Genesis 39, verse 7. Jacob says, "Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and in their wrath, for it was cruel. And I would divide them in Jacob, as you already see now, and scatter them in Israel," right? You can read Joshua 19, 1-9, etc. Now, I have a question for you, right? When you're dealing with Moses, Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, did Moses bless Simeon? Yes or no? Or no? Do anybody know? Did Moses bless Simeon? Moses, when you go to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, Moses did not bless Simeon. The omission of Simeon from Moses' blessing of Israel is a reflection of Jacob's anger, his anger towards Simeon, right? So when you go to the Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, you do not see Simeon because Moses did not bless Simeon. But he blessed Levi. He blessed Levi. Levi was included in the blessing of Moses because Levi was redeemed in the wilderness. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go to Levi. Let's go to Levi. It's not really much on Simeon. Simeon and Levi, they both pretty much did the same thing by killing those men of Shechem. So let's go to Levi. And we're going to read about Levi and Simeon again. Let's go to Levi, right? When you get to Genesis 49, read verse 5. No, wait, no, my bad. No, not verse 5, not verse 5. I'm sorry. We already did that. Go to Genesis 34. Genesis 34, we're going to read about Dinah, them defiling Dinah. Genesis 34. When you get to Genesis 34, right? Start reading at verse 7.
And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done.
Right. Okay. No. Do me a favor. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister, and they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that
stop
were a
right there.
reproach.
Stop right there. Stop right there. So it says in verse 13, and the sons of Jacob, they answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully. So that's why Jacob says, when you go back to Genesis 49 and verse 5, he says, instrument of cruelty is in their habitation, because they did this deceitfully. They waited till these men of Shechem were circumcised and was sore, right? And they came in and smoked them. We know the story. Matter of fact, continue reading 14 through 18.
And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this will we consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if ye hearken not unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son.
Verse 19.
And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delighted in Jacob's daughter. And he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son.
No, you can stop. You can stop right there. Jump down to verse 25.
Con. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males.
Stop right there. This is also the instrument of cruelty that Jacob spoke about, as he just spoke about here also in Genesis 34, verse 13, when he says that they did this deceitfully. Okay, read verse 26.
And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. Right.
Okay, there you go right there. So when you jump to verse 30, now it says, and Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, etc. So now we know the real story behind Levi and Simeon don't have nothing to do with no damn Haitians. But let's continue. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Joshua. Let's go to Joshua 21. We're dealing with Levi. Joshua 21. When you get to Joshua 21, right, read verse 40 through 43.
So all the cities for the children of Merari by their families were remaining of the Levites, were by their lot 12 cities. Israel were 48 cities with their suburbs, every one with their suburbs round about them. Thus were all these cities. And the Lord gave unto Israel all the land which he sware to give unto their fathers, and they possessed it and dwelt therein.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you can see it says, so all, verse 40 again, so all the cities for the children of Merari by the families which were remaining of the families of the Levites were by their lots of 12 cities, right? Throughout all the tribes, because Jacob said that with dealing with Simeon and Levi, I will scatter them among their brethren. Right? So now let's go to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, right? Again, when you get to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, Simeon, Moses did not mention Simeon among the blessed. But Moses mentioned Levi. It's a reason why he mentioned Levi and did not mention Simeon. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, read verse 8.
Verse 8. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah.
Okay, that's good. Right, so it says, let thy Thummim and Urim be with the Holy One. It says, and strive at the waters of Meribah. Right, the high priest office was holy. When you read this, it's because the high priest office was holy. Now go to Exodus 17 and read verse 7. It is because, again, the high priest office was holy. We're going now, Exodus 17, chapter 17, read verse 7.
And he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not?
Is the Lord among us or not? Right? It said they tempted. It said, let me read it more time. It says, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not? Right? Now, with that being said, let's go to Malachi. Let's go over to the book of Malachi. Malachi is the last book of the old covenant, right? Malachi chapter 2, read verse 5. We're dealing with Levi.
My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name.
Right? Now do me a favor. Jump up to verse 4 and read verse 4.
And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord of hosts.
That my covenant may be with who?
Levi, saith the Lord of hosts.
Right? Do me a favor, brother. Read verse 6 to 8.
The law of truth was in his mouth, and iniquity was not found in his lips. He walked with me in peace and equity, and did turn many away from iniquity.
Right.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
Should keep knowledge. Continue. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
And they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Continue.
But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, saith the Lord of hosts.
Right. But even though they corrupted the covenant, God still showed favor with Levi, because Levi had to teach the law of Moses even after the captivity above the Euphrates. They had to teach the laws of Moses. That's how you know also that the 10 tribes did not migrate to no damn Americas, because only the Levites could teach. Only the Levites could teach. Nobody else. And guess what? That was part of the law of Moses, that only the Levites could teach. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. We're dealing with Levi. Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, right? Let's take a look at this, right? When you get to Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, read verse 9 through 11.
Verse 9, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee and whole burnt sacrifice upon thine altar.
Moses said that they shall do what? They shall teach Israel the judgment, right? And the laws, etc. Only the Levites could teach. They shall teach Jacob thy judgment and Israel the law. Because God granted this minister to the holy things, right? The holy things, as I mentioned in Deuteronomy 33rd, verse 8. The high priest office was holy, right? The high priest office was holy. Let's go to Ezekiel 44.
Shalom, y'all.
Shalom. Hey, yeah, we know you here. Hey, the ball. Anytime you get tongue tied, Kahan gonna take over and read something too.
Hey, grace and peace, my brother.
Grace to you.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Ezekiel 44. Let's go take a look at what Ezekiel says. Ezekiel 44. When you get there, read verses 23 and 24. Ezekiel 44, verses 23 and 24.
I can get it. I can get it, Badal. You've been reading. I can get it. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 44, verse 23. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. Verse 24.
Yeah, 24. Yes, sir.
Verse 24. And in controversy, they shall stand in judgment, and they shall judge it according to my judgments, and they shall keep my laws and my statute in all my assemblies, and they shall hallow my Sabbaths.
They shall hallow my Sabbath. They shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane. They shall hallow my Sabbath. Let's go back to Deuteronomy, the third chapter. We're dealing with Levi. We're not dealing with no voodoo. Levi, Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, right? Now read verse 11. Verse 11.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 11. Bless the Lord his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
Now it says, bless the Lord his substance, and accept the work of his hands, right? And smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again, right? So God will prosper them in their estates, and which was allotted to them, right, within all the tribes or the territories, right? Being comfortable so they could minister to the people. They could minister to the people, right? So matter of fact, do me a favor, bro. Read verse 9 and 10 one more time. Deuteronomy 33rd chapter. Read verse 9 and 10. One more time.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed the word and kept thy covenant.
You see that? It says, I have not seen my father and my mother. The Levites was royal to God, Moses, and they kept the covenant. But it says, I have not seen my father, nor have I seen my mother. Now, what does that mean? Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 32. Because remember I said in the book of Deuteronomy, Moses did not bless Simeon. He did not bless Simeon in the book of Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. But guess what? He blessed Levi. And let's go see now why Levi redeemed themselves after Jacob cursed Levi. Let's go to Exodus, book of Exodus, right? Let's take a look at this, right? Go to Exodus, the 33rd chapter. Right? When you get there, right? In fact, let me get it. Let me get there real quick here.
Come.
Yeah, we're going to Exodus, the 32nd chapter. When you get there, you can start read verse 26.
Come.
Exodus, the 32nd chapter, verse 26.
32 and 26.
Yes, sir.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him.
You see that? Moses said, who is on the Lord's side? And it says that, and all the sons of Levi, they gathered themselves together unto him. Because right here, the Levites, the children of Israel was being rebellious while in the wilderness, right? So Moses said, who's on my side? Anybody's on my side, I don't care who you are, come up here. It says that only the Levites, they gathered themselves together to Moses, right? So again, when you're dealing with Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, Moses did not bless Simeon, but guess what? He blessed Levi because Levi redeemed themselves. That's why Levi got blessed, right? Read verse 27.
Verse 27, and he said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
He said, what? Slay who?
He said, slay every man his brother, and every man
his brother. Go ahead.
And every man his companion, Salakia. And every
man his companion. So now when you go back to Deuteronomy, you don't have to flip back. Stay right here. when you go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, verse 9 and 10, it says, I have not seen my father and mother. This is what the Levites said. Moses said that the Levites have not seen their father and mother. And the reason why is because they did not care. They rallied to Moses and they killed everybody who Moses said to slay. Right? So it says, and he said unto them, thus said the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side and go in and out from the gate to gate throughout the camp and slay every man his brother and every man his companion and every man his neighbor. So when Moses said in Deuteronomy the 33rd chapter, the Levite says, I have not seen my father and mother, they did not care. They did exactly what Moses said to do. And read verse 28.
Verse 28. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men.
You see that? The men of Levi, they rallied to Moses. Moses said, who was on my side? They rallied to Moses and they slew 3,000 people that day. 3,000 men. Now, read verse 29. Read verse 29.
Verse 29. For Moses has said, consecrate yourselves to the day, to the Lord, Salaki. Even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day.
You see that? That's why Levi was able to redeem themselves after the curse from Jacob, when he cursed Simeon and Levi and said instrument of cruelty because of what they did to those men of Shechem. Right? Moses did not bless Simeon. You won't read Simeon in Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, but Levi redeemed themselves because of what they did right here with Moses. Right? It says again, I have not seen my mother and father. When you go back to verse 27, it says, slay every man his brother and every man his companion. So Levi didn't care. Right? Now let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. Levi didn't care if you were their brothers. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me say something real quick, man. I hope everybody get edified, but this goes to show you when people say you're bringing strife. Understand the Most High used his own to whip his own. I think that's important. We need to recognize Most High used his own to whip his own. So he uses the Levites to correct his own. Right? Yeah, that's all I want to say, because I mean, you look at let me read one scripture, you if you don't mind, brother.
Go ahead.
It's 1 Corinthians chapter, if you read verse 10, 6 through 11, right? These people committed adultery, they done all these things. And verse 11 says, now all these things happen unto them for examples, right? For examples, and they were written for our animation, upon whom the ends of the world are come. So these things happen to our own people, by our own people, the correction. So right now, this is what the brother teaching right now is correction on that fake ass 12 tribe chart. Go ahead, brother. Slack it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Listen, if anybody have anything to say, man, listen, be free. Just go ahead and say it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I said, the Levites, they rallied around Moses and they did exactly what Moses said. So that's why Moses wrote Levi and blessed Levi, but he did not bless Simeon. The tribe of Simeon, they did not redeem themselves like Levi did. So now let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, right? Let's take a look at this, right? Go to Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, read verse 9 and 10.
God, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. Verse 10. They shall teach Jacob thy judgment, and Israel thy law. They shall put incense before thee, and hold burnt sacrifices upon thine altar.
Okay, right there. I just want you to read it one more time, because it says, they shall teach Jacob the judgment, etc. And verse 11 says, and bless Lord his substance and accept the work of his hands. It says might or smite through the loins of them that rise against him, etc. Right? Then it says in verse 9, it said, who said unto his father and his mother, I have not seen him, because they rallied around Moses. And they slew fathers, mothers, they did not care. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's go to the book of Matthew. Let's go see what the Messiah have to say. Deuteronomy 33rd chapter says, I have not seen my father or mother. The Levites slew everybody. They did not care. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10, right? Let's see if the Messiah says the same thing. Matthew 10, read verses 34 through 37.
It is Matthew 10, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against his father.
Go ahead.
And the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Hey, somebody's
foe.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
That's good. That's good. I just want you to read to verse 37. Now, somebody do me a favor. Hey, bro, hold your finger right there in verse 35. Somebody do me a favor. Go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, and read verse 9.
It's Deuteronomy
33rd chapter, verse 9. Verse 9.
Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him? Neither
Stop right there.
Acknowledge.
Stop right there. That's good. That's good. Now watch this. Watch this. Matthew chapter 10, verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. The same thing, because Moses said that they would not care about their father, mothers, etc. They will rally around me, and the Levites did, and they slew all those men, and they did exactly what Moses said. Now let's go to Matthew 12. Go to Matthew 12, right? Read verses 46 through 50.
Verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whoso shall do the will of my...
Yeah, verse 50. Verse 50.
For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother.
Exactly. So that's just more confirmation of what Moses said about the Levites. When he says that concerning the Levites, I have not seen my father nor mother. Now we know why Moses said it. Because what they did when they rallied around Moses in the wilderness. Now, let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. Let's go back. Deuteronomy, 33rd chapter. When you get there, right? Bear with me for 1 second here. When you get there, read. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I got this right here. Read verse 11. Verse 11.
Bless
Deuteronomy
Lord,
33rd chapter, verse 11. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bless Lord his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. It says, bless Lord his substance, and accept the works of what?
of his hands.
Okay, remember those words, folks, of his hands, meaning the Levites, because the Levites minister to the people. The Levites offer up sacrifices to the people. The Levites heal the people. That's why it says, bless the Lord his substance and accept the work of his hands. Continue to read.
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again.
Okay, now it says the work of his hands, right? Concerning the Levites, right? That's what it says, correct? Let's go to Leviticus. Let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus, right? Now watch this. Leviticus chapter 1. Leviticus chapter 1, right? When you get there, my brother, read verse 4. This is concerning the Levites right here.
Leviticus 1 and 4. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make an atonement for him.
He shall put what? His what?
He shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering.
He shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering. Because the Levites did many works with their hands. That's why it says, bless the Lord his substance and accept the works of his hands. Not only do the Levites teach the people, the Levites offer up sacrifices for the people. The Levites heal the people. They heal lepers and everything, right? So now let's go to the book of Exodus 29. Yeah, go to Exodus 29. When you get there, read verse 10.
And thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock.
They should do what?
Shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock.
Put their hands upon the head of the bullock. Just like it says in Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, verse 11, it says, accept the works of his hands, meaning Levi, the Levites. Let's go to Leviticus 14. When you get to Leviticus 14, let me get them myself. We're going to read verses 14 through 18. Leviticus 14, verses 14 through 18. We're still dealing with Levi, the Levites, or the Levitical priest.
I'll read verse 14 through what?
18.
18
through 18?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Leviticus chapter 14, verse 14. Okay, go ahead.
I got it there, Qanath. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand.
His what hand?
His right hand.
Continue.
And upon the great toe of his right foot.
Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15. And the priest, this is verse 15. Salaki, my iPad messing up. Anybody got it, they can read it.
I got it.
It says, and the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Verse
16.
And the priest shall dip. Verse 16. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand.
His left hand.
Sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Most High. So
now let me read verse 17, 18. And of the rest of the oil that is in his hand, there go the word hand again, shall the priest put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, right upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, and upon the blood of the trespass offering. Right? Verse 18. And the remnant, okay, the remnant of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, and the priest shall make an atonement of him before the Lord. That's why you go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter and verse 11, it says, bless the Lord his substance and accept the works of his hands. Right now, let's go. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because the Levites, they did many works with their hands. In fact, let's go to Matthew. Let's go back to Matthew. We're going back to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3. The book of Matthew chapter 3. That's why Moses says, bless the works of the Levites' hands. Now, what do this have to do with Haitians?
I don't know. Man, the most I've ever heard of a breakdown for a Haitian, they just say that they keep the same sacrifices as the Levitical priests. That's all I
that don't make no kind of sense.
That don't make no damn sense though.
Yeah, the sacrifice look, they got the Haitians, right?
Who say that?
Or the white boy said it, huh?
Yeah, Gorilla Hebrew. We got a video out saying it.
Yeah, the white boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but like I said,
it's not Gorilla Hebrew. That's not his name, bro.
Like I said, right? The Levites, they could not go nowhere, or the 10 tribes could not migrate nowhere without the Levites. The Levites had to teach them, but they got the Levites on the island of Haiti teaching nobody. They could not migrate nowhere without the Levitical priest. That's how we know that chart is a damn blasphemous lie. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. That's why I say, listen, man, they do not want to debate me, Qanath, Tazadakia. Trust me, the debate will be over in 5 minutes. I put my life on. It'll be over in 5 minutes. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3, right? We read verses 1 through 6.
Matthew chapter 3 and verse 1. In those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judea, verse 2, and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Verse 3, for this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. Verse 4, right?
Yes, 4 through 6. Go to read down to 6, verse 6.
Come. And the same John had his raiment of camel's hair and a leathern girdle about his loins, and his was locust and wild honey. Verse 5. And then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all the region round about Jordan. Verse 6. And were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins.
Verse 6, and was what in verse 6?
And were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins.
Now I have a question. What tribe was John the Baptist from? What tribe was John the Baptist from? What tribe he's from?
He was a Judite, wasn't he?
Right?
No, he was a Levite. John the Baptist was a Levite. He was a Levite. John the Baptist was baptizing people with what? What did he use to baptize people with?
Water.
No, what did he use on his body to baptize people with? His hands.
His hand. Yep.
His hands. He was a Levite. Let's go to the book of Luke. Let's go to Luke. John the Baptist was using his hands to baptize the people. Luke.
Hey, Yehuda.
Go ahead.
Yehuda, I'm sorry, I gotta say this right.
Go ahead.
I gotta say this. So if John the Baptist was a Levite, but according to them, all Levites had left. according to the chart. All of them left. So what is John still doing around when Christ was? What's going on here?
Exactly, man. I'm telling you, man, these dudes, they're a sideshow, man. You remember that song back in the 60s, Let the sideshow begin?
Let the slash, yeah.
Somebody
check this out.
need to do a remix.
Our people are scattered everywhere, man. Our people are scattered everywhere. But we know, some people, we already know that that guy ain't no Levite. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Blessing. Let's get it.
No, don't worry about it. Go to Luke chapter 3, right? Read verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Luke 3:16. One verse.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 3 and verse 16.
We still deal with John the Baptist, who was a Levite, who also was Christ's cousin, right? Luke 3, verse 16.
Luke chapter 3 and verse 16. John answered, saying unto them all, I indeed baptize you with water, but one mightier than I cometh, that latchet of whose shoes I am not worthy to unloose. He shall baptize you with Holy Ghost and fire.
And fire. So this is more confirmation. It says, John answered, saying unto them all, I indeed baptize you with water. So he uses his water to baptize the people.
So if he was baptized with water, how the hell, according to ISUPK, how the hell he ain't in the truth?
That too, but that's true. That's true. But what was he using on his body to baptize the people?
Hands.
His hands. Let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. We're still dealing with Levi, and then we're going to jump to Judah. We almost done with Levi. Let's go to Deuteronomy, 33rd chapter, right? Let's go back and take a look at this one more time. Deuteronomy, 33rd chapter. Read verse 11. Read verse 11 one more time.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 11.
Yeah, read it kind of slow. Not too slow, but kind of slow. Go ahead.
Bless, Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands.
Okay, stop right there. So we just dealt with the works of Levi's hands, showing that they Levite. I show you many scriptures showing them healing people with their hands. Continue.
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
That do what? Wait. Stop right there. That does what against Levi?
Smite through the loins of them that rise against him.
Stop right there. That rise against who? Levi, right? What's that? No, something happened?
Huh?
No, go ahead. That was somebody dropped the cup background. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. It says one more time, smite through the loins of them that rise against him. Keep those words in mind, that rise against him. Now, let's go to 1 Samuel. It says that rise against Levi. Let's go to it says smite the loins of them that rise against him. Now let's go to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, let's see what it said, what it means when it says rise against him, against Levi. 1 Samuel, right? Chapter 1, when you get to 1 Samuel chapter 1, read verse 1. You hear me?
This is 1 Samuel 1:1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, and the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite.
Okay, stop right there. It says the son of, it says, and his name was Elkanah, right? It says the son of Jeroham, and the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, and Ephrathite, right? You see it, right? It says, well, keep that name in mind here. Elkanah, E-L-K-A-N-A-H. Right now, stay in 1 Samuel chapter 2. Go to chapter 2. Read verse 11 through 13.
Verse 11, and Elkanah went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Now
Okay, stop right there. So we see again, it's Elkanah again. Continue to read. Go ahead.
Now the sons of Eli were sons of Bilal. They knew not the Lord. And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest servants came while the flesh was in seething with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand. And he struck it into the...
No. You can stop right there. So it says, in verse 11, and Elkanah, right, went to Ramah to his house, and the child did minister unto the Lord before Eli the priest. Verse 12, and now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial, and they knew not the Lord. But look what it says in verse 13, and the priest custom with the people, etc. Now, do me a favor, my brother, jump down and read just verse 18.
Verse 18. But Samuel ministered before the Lord, being a child, girded with a linen ephod.
And Samuel did what?
Ministered before the Lord, being a child, girded with a linen ephod.
See that? Samuel ministered before the Lord, right? And Samuel's father, if I'm not mistaken, was Elkanah, his father Elkanah. So Samuel ministered before the Lord as a child. Now read verses 19 through 21.
Verse 19, moreover, his mother made him a little coat and brought it to him from year to year when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, the Lord give the seed of this woman for the loan which is sent to the Lord, which is lent to the Lord. And they went into their own home. And the
Verse 21. Go ahead.
And the Lord visited Hannah so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord.
Stop right there. So it said the child Samuel grew before the Lord, and Samuel was a Levite. Samuel's father was a Levite. Right? Now let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 7. I just want to show you that Samuel was a Levite. His father was a Levite. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 7. Because it says in Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, verse 11, it says, smite them that rise against me, or the Levites. So 1 Samuel chapter 7, right? When you get there, read just verse 3. Read verse 3.
Verse 3, and Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, if we do return unto the Lord with all your hearts, if ye do return to the Lord with all your hearts, then put away the strange gods and Ashtoreth from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Lord, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines.
He would deliver you out. I'm sorry, stop right there. He would deliver you out of the hands of who?
The Philistines.
The Philistines. Go ahead and read verse 4 and 5.
Then the children of Israel did put away Baalim and Ashtaroth and serve the Lord only. And Samuel said, gather all Israel to Mizpeh, and I will pray for you unto the Lord.
Matter of fact, continue reading down to verse 10. We're almost done. Go ahead, verse 10. Go ahead. Continue right now from verse 6 through 10.
Come. And they gathered together to Mizpeh and drew water and poured it out before the Lord and fasted on that day and said there, we have sinned against the Lord. And Samuel judged the children of Israel in Mizpeh. And when the Philistines heard that the children of Israel were gathered together to Mizpeh, the lords of the Philistines went up against Israel. And when the children of Israel, they were afraid of the Philistines. And
stop right there. So it said the children of Israel were afraid of the Philistines. Now keep in mind, Samuel was a Levite. Read verses 8 through 10.
And the children of Israel said to Samuel, cease not to cry unto the Lord our God for us, that he will save us out of the hand of the Philistines. And Samuel took a sucking lamb and offered it for a burnt offering holy unto the Lord. And Samuel cried unto the Lord for Israel, and the Lord heard him.
Verse 10.
And as Samuel was offering up the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to battle against Israel. But the Lord thundered with a great thunder on that day upon the Philistines, and discomfited them, and they were smitten before Israel.
You see that? Smitten before Israel. In fact, my brother, read verse 11 through 13. We're almost done with this. 11 through 13.
Come on. And the men of Israel went out of Mizpeh and pursued the Philistines and smote them until they came unto Beth-ar. Then Samuel took a stone and set it between Mizpeh and Shin, and called the name of it Ebenezer, saying, Hitherto hath the Lord helped us. So the Philistines were subdued, and they came no more into the coasts of Israel. And the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel.
All the days of Samuel, right? Because the people cried out, Samuel led the people and fought the Philistines and conquered the Philistines, right? Now let's go to Deuteronomy, the 3rd chapter. Deuteronomy, the 3rd chapter, and read one verse. Verse 11. Okay. We almost done with Levi. Deuteronomy, the 3rd chapter. In fact, let me get there myself. Verse 11. Go ahead. Verse 11.
Verse 11. For only Og, king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of giants. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. Is it not in Rabbah of the children of Ammon? 9 cubits was the length thereof, and 4 cubits the breadth of it, after the cubit of a man.
Okay, you can stop there. Actually, it was something else I wanted, but that's okay. Because I realized I ended it right at 1 Samuel, right? So basically, 1 Samuel, you can see that Samuel conquered his enemies. So when it says in Deuteronomy the 3rd, that's why I meant to go back to Deuteronomy the 33rd chapter, right? Let's go back to Deuteronomy the 33rd chapter. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, come.
Let's go back to Deuteronomy the 33rd chapter. That's my bad. Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, verse 11. So when it says concerning the Levites, it says and smite through the loins of them that rise against him. It's talking about Samuel also. This is also a prophecy concerning Samuel, who was a Levite.
Right.
You see, Samuel was a Levite, and he helped destroy the Philistines. So now, I want to do now is go into Judah. Let's deal with Judah, the tribe of Judah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, sir, the tribe of Judah. So Simeon and Levi, folks, as you can clearly see, is not the Haitians and not the who they say the Dominicans.
The Dominicans.
They say Dominicans, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
How the hell they get that? That's what I want to know.
Comical, man.
Yeah.
Let's go deal with the tribe of Judah. Let's go to Genesis 49. Let's take a look at the tribe of Judah. Genesis 49. They say Judah is just the blacks in America, right?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Only the blacks in America. Isn't that something? They got Negroes all in it. South America, even more Negroes in South America.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. When we
they got Negroes all over the Caribbean.
Right. Came from the same slave ship.
Let me tell you something. All 12 tribes was on those ships. God is not a liar. Moses is not a liar. If God is a liar, put a comment on my board on this board tonight and say God is a liar. And Moses was a liar when he said that all 12 tribes would go on ships.
Exactly.
That's right.
Among and then God says among all the nations on the earth.
Right.
So
we put a video up where he in Saudi Arabia, they in Japan, they in China, they everywhere.
Look, as a mixture.
You know about the Palenque people?
About the who?
The Palenque. But dog, go into the Palenque forum a little bit.
No, they were scattered. That's all.
We're just letting know what we go with that.
Come.
Yeah. Let's go to Genesis 49 and read verse 8. We're dealing with Judah.
This is Genesis chapter 49 and verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. 49.
So it says that Judah. It says that Judah, thou art whom that your brethren shall praise, right? And thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Now let's go to First Chronicles. Keep that in mind. It says the neck of thine enemies. Let's go to First Chronicles, right? Judah. This is one of my favorite lessons right here, Judah. Let's go to First Chronicles. And Qanath know why. Let's go First Chronicles chapter 5. When you get to First Chronicles chapter 5, read verse 2.
First Chronicles chapter 5 and 2. For Judah prevailed among his brethren, right? And from him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph.
But the birthright was Joseph. For a while, not forever. For temporarily, the birthright was Joseph. I'm going to show you. The birthright was Joseph. So again, it says, for Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph. Now let's go to Matthew. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 21. Let's deal with the Messiah. The Messiah came from the tribe of Judah. David came from the tribe of Judah, as we all know. Let's go to Matthew 21, right? Read verse 9.
Matthew chapter 21 and 9. And the multitudes that went before and followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest.
Hosanna in the highest, right? So they praising Christ, right? It says, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, correct? Because he came from the tribe of Judah. Now let's go back to Genesis 49. Let's go back to Genesis 49. In verse 8, right? It says, Judah, thou art whom thy brethren shall praise. Did they not just praise the Messiah, Qanath? It says, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, right? And then it also says, thy hand shall be on the neck of thy enemies, right? Now let's go to Psalms 18. Psalms 18. Let's go see what David has to say, or Dawid. Psalms 18. When you get to Psalms 18, right? Read verse 40. Psalms 18:40.
Psalms chapter 18 and verse 40. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me.
He says, God has given him who?
His enemies.
No. God has given him what though? What did God give him?
The necks.
The necks of my enemies. That's the same. Let's go back to Genesis 49. David says that God has given me the necks of my enemies. The necks of my enemies, and we all know that David came from the tribe of Judah, just as Christ the Messiah, or Yeshua Ha Mashayach, right? We all know this. Let's go back to Genesis 49, right? Read verse 8 one more time.
Verse 8 of Genesis 49, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Stop right there. It says, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Right? Now let's go to Luke 8 and 26. Hey, Qanath, I have a question. Who's bowing down to Negroes out here? I don't see nobody. When you walk the street, do anybody come up and bow down to you?
Oh, they only thing I see, you got them weak ass people who so-called kiss somebody. If anybody bowing down nobody out here, man, they need to cut it out, man.
You ever seen a Seminole Indian go up to a Negro and bow down? Qanath, you ever seen that?
Nah.
I haven't seen it either. I ain't seen no Mexican bow down to me either. You ever seen that, Qanath? You ever seen any Mexicans bow down?
No, not yet. Any
Let's go
damn way.
to Luke 8, right? Read verses 26 through 28.
But no, you can get it.
Luke 8 and 26. And
Yeah, I hear some
and
noise in
they
the background.
arrived
What's
at
that?
the country.
Yeah, Luke 8, read verse 26 through 28.
Luke 8 and 26. And they arrived to the country of Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. And when he went forth to the land, there met him out of the city a certain man which had devils long time, and wear no clothes, neither abode in any house, but in the tombs. When he saw Ha Mashayach, he cried out and fell down before him, and with a loud voice
what?
said,
Wait. He did what? Wait a minute. Back up. Verse 28, what did this man do?
He cried out and fell down before him.
He fell down before the Messiah. Go ahead.
And with a loud voice said, what have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God Most High? Thee torment me not.
So it says that this man came out and he bowed down before the Messiah. He fell at his feet. That's what it says concerning Judah, that many shall come and fall at thy feet. Right? This is also a talking about the Messiah and David. When you're dealing with Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, you're also dealing with the Messiah and David. Now in Luke 8, read verse 41. Jump to verse 41.
Luke 8 and 41. And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue. And he fell down at Yahawashi's feet and besought him that he would come into his house.
Now wait a minute. This man, no, that's one verse. That's 41. This man here was a ruler of the synagogue, and it says that he came and fell at the Messiah's feet. So here you have a man of high status, a ruler of the synagogue, falling at the Messiah's feet. Now read verse 43 through 47.
Verse 43. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind him and touched the border of his garment. And immediately her issue of blood was stanched. And Yahawashi said, touched me. When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And Yahawashi said, somebody had touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me.
Right.
And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared him before all the people for what cause she had touched him and how she was healed immediately.
So they said this woman came and fell right down before the Messiah. Now let's go to 1 Chronicles chapter 5. Deuteronomy, the 49th chapter, and Genesis 49, Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, is not talking about or dealing with no black Americans. 1 Chronicles chapter 5, read verse 2. One more time. One more time.
For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler. But the birthright was Joseph's.
Now let's go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. When you get there, right? Read verse 7. Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, verse 7. Moses is dealing with Judah.
And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph.
Wait. Are you at Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter?
No, Salaki, I was in Genesis.
Yeah, Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, verse 7. Verse 7.
And this is Salaki. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies.
Right? It says, be thou a help, right? A help to him from his enemies, right? That's what it says. Now go back to Luke. Let's go back to Luke. Be now a help to him. It says, and be thou a help to him from his enemies. Let's go back to Luke chapter 1. Be a help to him of his enemies. Luke 1, when you get there, right, read verses 67 through 71.
This is Luke 1 and verse 67. Reads, and his father, Zacharias, was filled with the Holy Ghost, and prophesied, saying, blessed be the Lord of Israel, for he hath visited his and redeemed his people. And
okay, stop right there. Stop right there for a second. Now, this Zechariah is John the Baptist's father, right? This is after Mary came and she went back home, etc. And he's going to prophesy. He's going to pray, right? Continue to read. Go all the way to from now 69 through 71.
And hath raised up an horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
Okay, now what did Zechariah prophesy concerning the Messiah? That verse 71?
That we should be saved from our enemies and from
we shall be saved from our enemies. And verse 69, he says again, that has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. We shall be saved from the hand of our enemies. Now go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter. Like I said, when you're dealing with Genesis 49 and Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, you're dealing with, for the most part, the Messiah and David. The Messiah and David. So now we go back to Deuteronomy, the 33rd chapter, verse 7. Let me read this part again. It says, and be thou a help. It says that Judah would be a help to him, okay, to him from his enemies, as we just read concerning the Messiah. In the book of Luke, chapter 1. Now let's go to Psalms 132. Psalms 132. Right? We're going to go to Psalms 132. Let's take a look, right, and see what it says here. In fact, I'll read it this time. The Psalms 132, verses 10 through 14, right? It says this, for thy servant David's sake, turn not away the face of thine anointed. Verse 11, and the Lord has sworn in truth unto David, and he shall, and it says, and he will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon the throne. Verse 12, if thy children will keep my covenant, see, and my testimony, and shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore. Verse 13, for the Lord has chosen Zion, and he has desired it for his habitation. Verse 14, this is my rest. Okay, this is my rest forever, and here will I dwell, for I have desired it. I have desired it. So when you read verse 14, it says, this is my rest forever. Here it says, here will I dwell. Now let's go to Psalm 78. Go to Psalm 78, right? When you get to Psalm 78, read verse 68. Psalm 78 and read verse 68.
Verse 68, but chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion, which he loved.
Now read verse 67 and 68.
Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah.
He chose not the tribe of Ephraim. Remember I just read that the birthright belonged to Joseph? But I said it would be temporarily. Read it one more time, 67 and 68.
Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion which he loved.
It says that he refused the tabernacle of Joseph and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount of Zion which he loved. You see that? Let's go to Zechariah 12. Zechariah is just before Malachi, because Zechariah and Malachi, they were prophets during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah and Zerubbabel. So let's go to Zechariah chapter 12. When you get to Zechariah 12, read verse 7.
Verse 7. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah.
It says that the Lord shall save the tents of Judah first. That's why it says that Judah, your brethren, will praise. He shall save the tents of Judah first. Now to go to Hosea, right? Hosea. Let's go to Hosea, right? Chapter 1. Hosea chapter 1. He shall save the tents of Judah first. Hosea 1, read verse 11.
Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head. And they shall come up out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel.
But wait a minute. Don't these Negroes say that the 10 tribes came over on rowboats by themselves? When we know that's a damn lie, because the Assyrians had a civil war. And we know that it also says that the Assyrians and the Babylonians refused to set them free, refused to let them go. If they refuse to let them go, how in the hell are they going to leave? But it says here, then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together. Where were they gathered together? They were gathered together after the captivity above the Euphrates. That's why you go to First Chronicles chapter 9, it says that among the first group to return were also the Israelites, Ephraim and Manasseh, were among the first group to return back to the homeland. But it says together. Let's go to Psalms 108. But it says that Judah would be, and it said would be one head, right? Let's go to Psalms 108. Psalms 108, right? When you get there, right? My brother, read verse 8. Psalms 108 and read verse 8.
Verse 8. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim is also the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver.
Judah is my lawgiver. There you go again. Judah, he said, Judah is the head, right? All the brethren shall praise Judah. Judah is the lawgiver, right? He's the lawgiver. Let's go back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49, let's go back. Let me get back myself. Genesis 49, right? When you get there this time, read verse 9. 49, verse 9.
Verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
It says Judah is a lion's whelp, right? It says from the prey, my son that are going up, he stooped down, he crouches down as a lion. But as an old, it said, here's the key, as an old lion, who shall raise him up? Right? So when you see that Judah is a lion's whelp, it's mean a young lion, a young lion. So right here in this sentence, it referenced Judah as a young lion and an old lion, right? Has gone up, meaning he has grown and he has risen. He's grown greater above all the tribes. right, also symbolizes David and the Messiah, majesty, ascended on high to heaven and conquering death. So when it says an old lion, let me show you what it says when it says old lion. Verse 9, it says, and as an old lion, who shall rise him? Keep that in mind, as an old lion, who shall rise him? Now let's go to the book of Daniel. The lions wept. Judah's a young lion and an old lion. But how can he be an old lion and a young lion in this sentence here? Let's go to Daniel, right? Daniel chapter 7. Daniel 7, read verses, in fact, read verse 1. Daniel 7, verse 1.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel,
okay. Now that's good. That's good. Now read verse 9. Verse 9.
Con. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire.
It says that the Ancient of Days did sit. So when you go back to Genesis 49, it says, and as an old lion, who shall rise him? It is talking about the Messiah, because he is from the Ancient of Days, right? He used to he sat at the right hand of the Father before he came down to earth. Right? It said, who shall raise him? Who shall rise him? The old lion is talking about none other than the Messiah himself. Christ as the old ancient lion since the beginning of time. Let's go to Revelation 22. He's the old ancient lion since the beginning of time. Who shall rise him up? Let's go to Revelations, right? Let's take a look at Revelation 22. And when you get to Revelation 22, read verse 13.
Verse 13, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. The beginning, he's that old lion. Right? That old lion. It says the lion's whelp is a young lion, but it says as an old lion, who shall rise him? It's talking about the Messiah. Let's go to John 1:1. The book of John, chapter 1. You get there, read verse 1. As an old lion, who shall rise him up?
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And the same was in the beginning.
No, that's verse 1. Read verse 10.
He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not.
And the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. And the word was made and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
Right, the word, which is Christ, and was made flesh, and he dwelt among us, right, when he came to earth, right, and it says, and we beheld his glory, the glory of the only begotten Son of the Father, full of grace and truth. Now, go to Revelation 5. We're going back to Deuteronomy, etc. Go to Revelation 5. When you get to Revelation 5, read verse 5.
And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
It says, and to what? To loose the 7 seals thereof, right? Now let's go back. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. Because it says, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, right? Nor a lawgiver, right? Nor a lawgiver from under his feet. Matter of fact, that's Genesis 49, I think. My bad. That's Genesis 49. Let me get there myself. Yes, sir. Genesis 49, verse 10. Read Genesis 49, verse 10.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Right. It says the scepter shall not depart from Judah, right? From Judah, nor a lawgiver, right? Between his feet until Shiloh come, right? Let's say Christ was born, he was born around 7 AD. Around 7 AD. Now, it says, Judah nor a lawgiver between his feet. Hold your page right there and go back to Psalms 108. It says a lawgiver, right, from between his feet. The lawgiver was Judah. It said the scepter shall not depart from Judah. Go to Psalms 108. When you get to Psalms 108, read verse 8 one more time.
Gilead is mine, Manasseh is mine, Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver.
Judah is my lawgiver, right? So the Messiah's birth had to take place before the scepter departed from Judah. Go back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49 and 10. So once again, the Messiah's birth had to take place before the scepter departed from Judah. The scepter and lawgiver departed from Judah in around 7 AD when Christ was born, right? And the rabbis, they lost their rights to execute the death penalty. They lost their rights to execute the death penalty. The rabbis did. And when Pontius Pilate told the rabbis or the Pharisees, he said to judge Christ yourself. Matter of fact, let's go get it. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 18. Let's go to John 18. When you get to John 18, right? Read verse 31.
Come. Then said Pilate unto them, Take ye him, and judge him according to your law. The Jews therefore said unto him, It is not lawful for us to put away any man to death.
Wait a minute. The Jews said to Pontius Pilate, what?
It is not lawful for us to put away any man to death.
They said to Pontius Pilate, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. Why? Because they lost the scepter. They lost it. Right? Now, watch this here. See, they lost their lawgiver. They lost the lawgiver, the scepter of self-rulership to the Romans. Let's go back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49. Let's go back. Verse 10. I read it. That says the Messiah had, again, it says that the Messiah had to be born at the time when the Pharisees were still in power. When he was born, the Pharisees, they were still in power as the lawgivers. They had a scepter, right? It says it will not depart after the Messiah is born until Shiloh come. Until Shiloh come. Now, do me a favor, my brother. Go to the book of Leviticus. It will not depart until Shiloh come, which is the Messiah. Let's go to the book of Leviticus. When you get to Leviticus, right? You okay, my brother?
Yeah, go ahead. We
24, read verse 16. Leviticus 24, chapter 24, and read verse 16.
Come on, verse 16. And he that blasphemeth, Salaki, and he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death.
Wait, stop right there. It said, wait. It says, he that blasphemed the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. Now, did we just read that the Pharisees told Pontius Pilate that we cannot put no man to death?
Come on.
We just read it. They told Pontius Pilate, according to our law, we cannot put no man to death. But right here in the book of Moses, in Leviticus 24:16, it says, and he that blasphemed the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death. He shall surely be put to death. Right? But John 19, it says they didn't have the right to put nobody to death because they lost lost the scepter. They said we have a law. They said we have a law in John 19. We have a law. He must die. Now let's go to the book of John 19. Watch this here. Let's go to the book of John chapter 19. In John 18, they said it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. Let's go to John 19. When you go to the book of John chapter 19, read verse 6 through 7.
Verse 6, and the chief priests, therefore, and officers saw him. They cried out, saying, crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, we have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God.
You see that? Now in John 18:31, they told Pontius Pilate, it is not lawful for us to put any man to death. In Leviticus 24, that was part of the law of Moses. Anybody blaspheme, they can put to death. But right here in John 19, they said one more time, John 19, verse 7, it says, the Jews answered him, Pontius Pilate, we have a law, and by our law, he ought to die. Meaning this here, basically the Pharisees are saying, we don't have the authority to physically put Christ to death because they lost the scepter. They lost the lawgiver. They lost the scepter and the lawgiver. But we want you Romans to physically put him to death. Because the Jews, they used to put people to death themselves. Right? Now let's go back to Genesis 49. Genesis 49. When you get to Genesis 49, read verse 11.
Verse 11, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
So he washes his garments in wine, and his clothes, it says, in the blood of grapes.
Oh.
But what it's talking about, it says, right? Because when you go back to verse 9 above it, it says that he stooped as a lion. That's it. He stooped, meaning Christ, as a lion, right? Meaning he's going to return for the kill, to kill his enemies. Let's go to Isaiah 63:1. We almost done too. We getting there. Isaiah 63:1.
Who is this?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
With dyed garments from Basra. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thine garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat?
Okay, stop right there. It says, stop right there. It says, who is this that come from Edom, and with dyed garments, as we just read in Genesis 49? That is glorious in his apparel, because Christ is going to come back and slaughter so many people. The blood is going to go into the horse's bridle, right? And then it says in verse 2, wherefore art thou red, meaning the blood, in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. It said the wine fat, right? Read verse 3.
I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment, and I will stain all my raiment.
And I will stain all my raiments. Now, no, you have to read. That's it. I will stain all my raiments, because when Christ comes back with his army from heaven, he's going to fight in that region, of Edom. Just as I said, if you go watch my Mystery Babylon series, you will see Mystery Babylon is over in that region because they blasphemed the Messiah night and day. That's why he's coming back to fight in that region. When you look it up, Bozrah is in Edom, which is in Arabia. Right? Now let's go back to Genesis 49 real quick. Real quick. Genesis 49, right? Verse 11. So again it says, and he washed his garments in wine and his clothes in the blood of grapes. Right? Verse 12. Read verse 12. Genesis 49, verse 12.
His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Right? Now, let's go to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 14. Revelation 14. You get to Revelation 14, right? Read verses 19 through 20. Let's see what it says about the wine press also. Revelation 14 through 20.
And the angel
Revelation chapter 14. Yes, verses 19 through 20. Yes, sir.
And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God.
Into the great who? The great who?
The great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
Even into the horse's bridle. Christ is going to kill so many people, the blood is going to flow up to the horse's bridle because he's coming back on a horse, right? Let's go back to Genesis 49. So when it says he washed his garments in the wine, now we know what it's talking about. The wine press represents the blood from all the killing he's going to do. Read verse 12 one more time, my brother. Genesis 49, verse 12. One more time.
His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
His eyes shall be red with wine, right? Red with wine. Let's go to Isaiah 51, and then we're going to go to maybe one more verse, and we'll be done. Isaiah 51 and read verse 17.
Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out.
Okay, now go to Revelations. Let me see here. Go to Revelations 19 and read verses 11 through 13. Revelations 19, verses 11 through 13. Because it says Christ's eyes is going to be red with wine, right? Revelation 19, verses 11 through 13.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew, but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name
dipped in what?
In blood.
Dipped in blood. Go ahead.
And his name is called the Word of God.
Okay, see that? His eyes red with fire because of the anger when he come back and fight with his army. Go to one more verse, my brother, we be done. Revelations 1 and read verse 14.
This is Revelations 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were a flame of fire.
And his eyes were the flame of fire. That's why when you go back to Genesis 49 and verse 12, it says his eyes shall be red with wine and his teeth white with milk. So when you're dealing with Judah, for the most part, you're dealing with Christ and David. Don't have nothing to do with quote unquote African Americans. You're dealing with Christ and David. Hey, Qanath, you want to say anything?
Oh no, I mean, I tell people all the time. Well, I do have to say something. I tell people all the time. Excuse me. That I was reading a comment board, and people, one. Let me say this real quick on the comment board. Somebody said, "Wow, big verse. I got to get a New Testament, a new look at the New Testament again." So maybe you done brought somebody to Christ with this lesson here. Let me say this.
I do. After you're done, I'm gonna let you finish. But after you're done, I do want to go to one more verse. I want to go to Ezekiel. After you're done, I want to go to Ezekiel.
No, go ahead, get the verse. Then I finish up.
Let's go to Ezekiel. This is also dealing with the Lion 12 tribe chart. The satanic lion ass chart. Ezekiel 39. Let's see if God is a liar. Let's see. I have a question for everybody who's watching this video, right? Or this lesson. Have the Gog-Magog war, has it taken place yet? If no, put a 1 in the comment board. Again, have the Gog-Magog war, has it taken place yet? If not, put a 1 in the comment board.
Nope.
You seen the ones flying up there, Qanath?
No, anybody saying nothing.
All right, the Gog-Magog war is a future prophecy, right? A war that has not even taken place yet. A future prophecy. Let's see what's going to happen after the Gog-Magog war. Let's go to Ezekiel real quick, then I'll be done. Let's go to Ezekiel, right? I'm going to do most of the reading. This is after the Gog-Magog war in what we call the Middle East today, right? God is going to cleanse the land. He's going to kill all those people over there. It's going to be a major war. And he's going to bury all those bodies. And after he buried all the bodies, let's see what God's going to do after the Gog-Magog war. Let me start at Ezekiel 39, verse 21. Look what it says here. God says, and I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen, they shall see my judgment that I have executed in my hand that I have laid upon them. Verse 22. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day forward. Why? Because many Jews or many Negroes worldwide, they don't know they're Israel. They don't know. Verse 23. And the heathen, God said the heathen, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity. What captivity? The final captivity. The Eastern Sub-Saharan slave trade, the Roman captivity, and the Atlantic slave trade. Let's continue. For their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and I gave them into the hand of their enemies. So they fell all by the sword, says God. Verse 24. God says, according to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and I hid my face from them. Verse 25. Look what God says here. Now, mind you, this is a future prophecy. He says, therefore, says the Lord, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob and have mercy upon the whole house. Hey, Qanath, did God say the whole house?
Whole house.
God said that all 12 tribes went into captivity. Oh, shit. Let's continue. I got to read it one more time. Verse 25. God says, therefore, thus says the Lord, now will I bring again. Listen what he says, people. God says, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob, meaning all 12 tribes, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name. Verse 26, I'm almost done. And after that, they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me. And when I dwelt, he says, when they dwelt safely in their land, meaning we are dwelling safely where we at, scattered worldwide. Yes, we're going through ups and downs and trials and tribulations, but we are basically dwelling safely in our lands. And none made them afraid. Verse 27. And when I have brought, God says, when I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and I am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. The last verse, verse 28. Then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen, but I have gathered them into their own land. Hey, Qanath, read that last sentence in verse 28.
Wait, I only had a book. I only had yours. Where you at?
I read it. God says, I have gathered them, right, into their own land. But look what he says here, Qanath, and have left none of them any more dear. Meaning this here, folks. When Christ returns, he's going to bring back all 12 tribes from the captivity and return everybody back to the land. It's not going to be nobody dwelling in America no more. No Jews dwelling in South America. No black Jews dwelling in Europe. No black Jews dwelling in Africa. No black Jews dwelling in Australia. Christ is going to bring back all 12 tribes from the captivity. This also proves that all 12 tribes were scattered on cargo ships. Because he says, bring back. The only people that went into slavery from that region, from the Eastern Hemisphere, are the Negroes. No getting around it. No getting around it.
That's right.
I challenge anybody to a debate on this issue. No getting around it. God is not a liar. God is not a liar. Period.
Let me say this, and we're gonna be out. When you look at the breakdowns, I think we got one or two more. I'm not sure, but the Bible already tells you where they at. When you look at the maps, it tells you where Israel is, and then it tells you how we'll be scattered all over. This new doctrine that God or the Most High then told y'all, now Judah's here and Levi's there and so on and so forth. That's simply not true. Okay, simply not true. You can be any tribe right now of Negroid descent, a Negro. Okay, and anywhere in the Americas, anywhere in the world. Understand that. And the scriptures also tells you about certain attributes that someone would have. People always say this. Well, the Hispanics were put on ships too, and we done research to find out them people are black. But if they were put on ships to Europe, then why aren't they still in Europe like the black man, woman, and child is?
Right.
But wait a minute, Qanath. Ezekiel says that God is going to bring them back. That means back to that region. Only the Negroes was taken from that region. No.
Right. Let me say this too, brother. You said I deleted the commandments. I didn't mean to delete him. Right. I was trying to delete another comment and delete the person. So I mean, it is what it is, man. You know, but I would say this a lot of times, and we're gonna go. A lot of times when somebody giving a lesson, people trying to learn, and it's a distraction from somebody while somebody else is giving a lesson for 2 hours and 8 minutes so far, and somebody come in a lesson and start posting a bunch of scriptures while we giving a lesson. Quite frankly, it's quite rude. You know what I'm saying? Quite rude. You know, I know some people give scriptures to try to go along with what we're saying, but it's a lesson, you know, we want people to hear, you know, whether you adding to it or even taking away, you know. So think about that. If you're giving a lesson, right, you're giving a lesson that you done took hours and prayed on to put together, and where you're doing a lesson, someone else is commenting on that lesson, right, whether they right or wrong, comment as far as giving scriptures, right, and that's creating confusion. That's creating confusion. You understand? So, I mean, quite frankly, we don't even have to have a comment, you know, but we do, right? Because we want everybody to be involved in this, and our moderators do a wonderful job. But if we giving a lesson on something and you don't know the end of the lesson and to make comments on a lesson that you haven't heard the conclusion of the matter, then that's quite rude, quite rude. So you say you deleted, please keep God's commandments, shaking my head, right? That's the reason why, brother, right? I didn't mean to lead him personally, right? We giving a lesson, So the lesson we took hours to do, right? This is what I'm talking about, man. We got to learn be decently in order. Decently in order. That's it. That's it. And if people don't like our channel and don't like the way we do things, whether you agree with us or not, you don't have to watch the video. You can leave or debate it or just do your own class. That's it. You know, so that you say that's right, like yes, you did, but it don't matter. So guess what I'm gonna do? Now I'm gonna delete you. Right? Boom. Now you go. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's how things roll over here in F.O.P.E house. You know, but yeah, so you're not going to find. We want to see somebody who want to take on this, right, and just be edified. Just be edified, man. So, Yehuda, you want and great reading, brother. Badal, great reading. You know, great class, Yehuda. You know, and you don't have to agree with everything Yehuda said. Yehuda put this class together. Quite frankly, I thought it was beautiful, beautiful. You know, and Yehuda and I, we agree on 99.9%. We don't agree on everything, but we agree on a lot of stuff. You know, I thought it was a wonderful class.
Qanath. I want to say, too, that map that I got shows how all the tribes left Africa, and I was saying it was Negro, and how some went to Australia, Madagascar, the Bantus, and all of them that came from certain tribes that came from South Africa. That's what I was trying to explain to people. Remember a while ago in the video, I kept telling them that all the 12 tribes left Africa, and they went
exactly.
And
that's right.
You already know, Qanath, because you've seen the map. The map that I got proves that.
Right.
Yeah. That's right.
All the 12 tribes went to slavery on ships.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Shorsham. That's why in the book of Ezekiel, God says after the God make war, Christ is going to bring back all 12 tribes. He said bring them back, meaning they left from that region. Only the Negroes left from that region of what is called Africa and Palestine. Only the Negroes, nobody else.
Exactly. Exactly. So I hope everybody enjoyed this class too. And this don't have anything to do with class, but I gotta say it. I just gotta say it because it's like on my lips. A lot of people, Mighty Hebrew, be on Sunday to do a class before we go into the regular thing on Sunday. And everybody think the Mighty Hebrew don't believe in Christ. Well, guess what? Breaking news. He does. All right. Breaking news, right? He does, right? And him and I going over scriptures and we talking and we dialoguing. But guess what? He believes that Christ is real. Well, some people say the New Testament is not real at all. Nothing. No, he believes. He believes in Yahawashi, right? So breaking news on that one. How about that? How about that? So yeah, Yehuda, Badal again. You want to say something, Badal?
Yeah, man, great breakdown. I know I'm definitely keeping a couple precepts for myself, man. All praises to the Most High.
No doubt, no doubt. Yehuda?
No, I'm done, man. I did what I had to do. Like I said, man, listen, anybody who feel they can go in the scriptures and come against what I put out, hey, more power to you. But I know one thing. God is not a liar. Ezekiel didn't lie when he said Christ is going to bring back all 12 tribes after the God made God war. And can't nobody get around that.
No,
can nobody get around it, man, at all. You know, they can say what they. It's like you say, Shan.
I said no. He hit that on the head because that helped my cause on what I was saying for is like I said before that because that map I had, I told you months and months ago that man, this map clearly show you that all the tribes are Negro, because there's no way that you could fit them in that just by having that map when it started from the 1400s all the way to whenever it was when it was showing the whole slave trade of being taken on ships from here to there to there to there. So there's no way they fit that prophecy. And then like there were scriptures he added on just helped me out even more.
That's right. That's right, Shawshan. Ezekiel, folks, Ezekiel 39 and 40, that's the killer right there. That is the killer. Christ
Oh man, it cut up. You cutting off, and that might it's cutting off his internet. Hey, Chan, can you still hear me?
Come.
Good. Also, man, somebody in the comment board said, "How come it's not being taught universally?" Well, hey, even from Genesis to Revelations, you had people going against each other. We proved that earlier in the class today. Even when we was in the wilderness, we fought against one another.
Hey, Qanath, that's what we need to do, bro. Next time I come out your house, we gonna take that map and put it on that scan thing so we can blow it up so people can see it.
Right.
We can show where all the tribes went at, and it shows you from what parts of Africa they went so everybody can see it because it's real tiny print. But Qanath got something, he can blow it up.
All praise to the Most High, man. No doubt, man. We appreciate all y'all, man. We really do appreciate y'all. Oh, Shawshank, guess what, bro? Guess what? You ain't gonna believe this.
What?
Israel, y'all ain't gonna believe this, man. Check this out. Don't you know in F.O.P.E, you know we say Ha Mashayach Yahawashi? You know we say that? Well, F.O.P.E got they say that, but now they gotta add Johanna in it.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I'm done, man. Oh, Qanath, I added Sister Saraya. She a moderator now.
Okay. Hallelujah.
I added her as a moderator.
All right. Hallelujah. Yeah, man. The Most High is waking us up. We got a long way to go. And like I said, we don't claim to know everything, man. And one thing about this channel here is somebody got some good knowledge of the scripture and fear the Most High. You could come on here, and speak your piece. If even if you want to give a class, man, if it's the word of the Most High, that's how we operate. You understand? We know we're not no respected person around here, man. True that. We're not. We love our people dearly. I'll just say this to you, man. Start wondering what you're gonna do if or when the Most High lift this virus, right? What you gonna do next? What you gonna do next? So F.O.P.E, all these guys, y'all want to get some of the 12 tribe chart, right? There is no damn chart, right? There is no chart, right? And Yehuda and I and Shasham, we're gonna go over that breakdown of Nathaniel and Elder Binyam did line upon line. We're gonna play the video live, and we're gonna do a breakdown on a line upon line, everything they bring out, and we're gonna show you the error of their ways. And I don't think they've done it deliberately. I'll be honest with you. This is what they was taught. Right? This is what they was taught. So we believe that also at one time. Through the power of the Most High, he woke us up. Through the power of the Most High, he woke us up.
Right. It ain't a hate thing. It's just about truth. Like I said, I got love and respect for Elder Ben Yum, and I ain't got really too much to say about Nate. I don't really know him, but I'll just say that I don't think it was delivery. Like I said, I think, like Elder Qanath said, it was what they was taught. It is what it is. They taught what they was taught at the time. They had the knowledge that they had, and that's what they worked with. But
I think it was done deliberately by that dude Ariado. I think he done it deliberately. We put in the video that he knew that it was off, and the guys, they just, they believe what he said. But I hope y'all enjoyed this breakdown, man. All praises. Yehuda, what's the next prize we got left? I think 2, right?
We just got Dan. We're gonna do Dan one night. Dan.
Yeah, Dan. So we got Dan. We're gonna do Dan.
That's it. Dan is it. That's it. We did every try.
Right. We're gonna do Dan and it's a few other things. I'm not gonna let everything out the bag. I'm gonna do it most I will tomorrow. I'm gonna do a class. I could have done this class with Yehuda, man, but I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna let the spirit rock, because the brother was in the spirit on this lesson right here. So great class, brother. Give all the credit to the Most High. That was a great class.
And I'm gonna do something on a so-called Shield of David pomegranate. I got a bunch of information on that. I'm gonna bring that out to you so people can see it.
Yeah. Oh, and also this Sham and I are working on something, and Yehuda showed me something, man, and I'm like, wow. Everybody keep on thinking who's Bathsheba, right? Right? And who's the other two sisters, bro? I mean, Charles Sham.
Say it again.
The two sisters. About
Jacob Laban daughters that
right.
The handmaids that everybody thought that was African. I believe is actually was Laban daughters, which was
Bilhar and Zipper.
Like I said, I got some information saying they was actually his younger daughters. So I'm trying to get a couple more sources, but it's a few of them out there that I have already that's saying that they believe that they was actually his youngest daughters, and when Jacob took them, they was old enough because he worked 7 for 14 for Rachel, 7 for Leah, and then after that it was years after, so them girls was grown. They was
I proved that before how old they was.
They was at the age of a handmaid, so he could take
over 20 years old. They was over 20-something years old.
Right. When he had them, they was worthy of being his wives, and that's why when they was given to him, he was allowed to go on into them.
And Yehuda showed me something the other day about was it Bathsheba? Yehuda?
Bathsheba. Yep.
You want to go ahead and say what she is, brother? Before you
Bathsheba was of the tribe of Judah. She was a Judahite. She was of the tribe of Judah.
And we're going to prove this strictly with the word.
Yep, 100%.
100%, not one error. Okay, straight scriptures will tell you who her father is, and everything.
Yep.
So I know people will say, "Oh, them niggas going crazy," but every time they say that, and then we do a video on it, mum's the word. Right. So all this stuff. That person. So that person can't be Israelite, huh? Because no. You measures then allow the Most High to put the Spirit on us to prove you wrong. All right. That's what that happened. You keep on thinking, well, what about Bathsheba? What about this? But the Most High said, yeah, the man just think they got something. And the Most High made the Spirit, put the Spirit on us to prove y'all wrong. Bathsheba is an Israelite. And guess what? We could prove that in less than 15 minutes.
That's right. That's right. Less than 15 minutes. Exactly.
Might be 10. And everybody, I guarantee everybody's mouth going to drop. That's a fact. Yehuda, if you want to do that, we can do the floor. Most I will.
That's right. Hey, listen, man, I'm out of here. Grace and peace. Sham, shalom. Thank you, brother, for the reading and everything. I appreciate it.
Hey, Sham, you want to end on that song, brother?
Yeah. Let me also say, the water Most High bless for everybody who donated. Thank you, Lima, for the donation. I paid for the StreamYard with that fund. And anybody who donated out of Qanath Equipment Fund, Most High bless y'all. We appreciate it. Anything y'all give, it don't go to our own personal use, but it does go towards furthering the ministry. And all right, I'll play the song. I'll get it. Let me pull it.
Hey, put the link up if anybody want to donate up.
All right, let me just give me a minute.
God bless you all. We truly love y'all, man. Now in this day of time right now, man, we going through stuff.
You know why we're not afraid? What? Oh, he's great in Turb. Turb was destruction. Y'all think he come back in all peace? You got another thing coming. So we're out here fighting for our brother. We ain't marching saying, yes, we can. No justice, no peace. Go! Fight for your sons and your daughters. I'm not wrapped too tight. Got 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog. I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up. tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Won't all the smoke, motherfucker, go. This is my battle cry. Oh! Isaiah 14:21, that ancient version of that gun that swore. They stole our name, they stole our shit. We real Judites, motherfucker, Jewish. We Lord. Generals on your soldiers, we fight tonight like we supposed to. They inherited lies. I'm referring to all whites. I'm referring to riches, white privilege, given through genocide. And they gotta pay for that. God say, Jacob, gon' take it back. I cry aloud, I spare not. This good bread, my sharecrop. This lily grew through concrete. We march to our own drum beat. We the chosen. No inclination to kick it with y'all. Raise Babylon to the ground, then watch it fall. Obadiah said you'll be wiped up for theft. These are just words, worry about what come next. It's for Negroes, Latinos, we better than all, not equal. My natives know red got that feather. Me primo be smooth like that leather. Until it's time to bring the war dogs out, put the headdress on. War paint and I'm not wrapped too tight. Got 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog, I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Won't all the smoke, motherfucker, go. This is my battle cry. I got the spirit of grandfathers past. Front porch sitters, Nat Turner dangerous. A real life illustration of angry and that painting. Of Malcolm staring out the window with patience. One hand on the curtain, right hand on the AK spits. 47 rounds, all to bring down Satan. Same way Abel was killed by Cain. This will be an introduction from the fuck shit into the fire. Probably join the list of artists who died before they retired. Most High said I'm hired. Sire will never spit a line aimed at my kind, less meant to uplift. Toughness will be redefined in my rhymes. A squad of men with the spirit of God, with an affinity to point their weapons not at the brethren but at the enemy. Khaki colored kids, baptized in the flames of combat fashioned. In the trap we escaped, our fate was to great and noble. Moses reincarnate, so be hopeful and know I bring word from A and O to Pharaoh and white folk, let my people go, cause that's my battle cry.
Shalom, Israel. Most High bless.